Hello, it's Cisvolk. I'm so excited to finally be able to show you what I've made. Carlacreaties has designed beautiful new stamps, dies and patterned paper, and I was privileged to make some inspiration card examples that are now featured in the CraftEmotions annual catalogue. And I'm really proud of that. The new ocean release is immediately displayed on the front page. You see the lovely critters designed by Carlacreaties. This card is a pop-up box card that I made. Of course, with a matching envelope. I think the rainbow colors of the fish stand out so nicely above that beautiful swirling water. You can put the card upright and fold it flat, so it fits in the envelope. In this kind of card you can put each of the fish of this series. I also added a label with it to write on. For this card I used the new Ocean Mask stencil and ink blended it with blue memento ink, both on the card and on the envelope. This is the actual stamp set. It's over here in the catalogue. The text says, "You are amazing. What a fish, I almost forgot your birthday." The seahorse I will show you later. Here you see the background stamp with the waves. Really one of my favorites, so pretty. You can stamp them continuously underneath each other if you want. It's perfect to combine with all kinds of fish and also the older ocean series. Here I stamped with memento lux on color card paper and heat embossed with transparent embossing powder and then colored with alcohol markers. When I have the opportunity, I will see if I can show you how to make such a pop-up box card. Then we head over to this next card in the catalogue. That's this one. You can see that I glued on the waves raised and stamped the text Dum Dum in between. I used watercolor card from CraftEmotions and colored with Ranger Distress Oxide and Distress ink. I masked the background and also used the mask stencil with the bubbles as the background for the card and envelope. The panel I die cut with the Deckled Edge by CraftEmotions. I left the border black and only colored the inside. And so here you can see that I used the same background stamp. Super pretty, huh? And then here we have the stamp of the shark. You can stamp all kinds of things in his mouth if you want. You can make it a shaker or put fish in it, etc. The Dum Dum lyrics and ready for this can refer to different songs, but once one of those is in your head, it won't go away, I can tell you. They are so funny and fun, they make me absolutely happy. Now let me show you this one, the Seahorse. On this card I also worked with the watercolor card paper and with oxide ink, and then splashed over it with shimmery ink. Also on this card I stamped the image first with black ink and then heat embossed with transparent embossing powder. The little fish are from an older ocean set. They are no longer in the catalogue, unfortunately. These are the fish from ocean number 1. And here again the ocean 10 with the seahorse. I think the text is so funny. You can also use the words separately if you cut them loose after stamping. So I stamped "You are amazing" here on this tag. Then you see 4 card images, which is basically the same card. I made a never-ending card. Maybe you know that kind? It's a card that you can keep turning over infinitely and then each time you see a new image. It's this card. On the envelope I glued pieces of paper. I made it using the patterned paper that I will show you in a minute. You fold the card in half each time, turn it a quarter and then the picture has changed again. I always find cards like this very cute for children or for sick people who might be bored. The card is pretty easy to make once you know how to do it. And it remains surprisingly fun every time too. I used 8 different pieces of paper and different push-out figures to decorate it. Do you recognize the card now? I also made this label with the pattern paper and the push-out images. It is here in the catalogue. Now I will show you the pattern paper set with lovely patterns. The figures here are a little smaller than on the stamps. You can easily push them out, as you can see here. With a set of paper you get a sheet of die-cut images and 12 sheets of double-sided pattern paper. So you have the water here and a very nice retro pattern on the back, on the other side. So you always have 2 of each. There's a sheet with cute whales and on the other side matching stripes. A sheet with water bubbles on a gradient from dark blue to light blue, and on the back beautiful orange stripes like coral. Here 2 sheets with starfish in circles. They are so cute. But look at the other side. This is so much fun. All the figures in miniature. You'll recognize the shark and starfish from the older Ocean series. Don't waste a shred of this beautiful paper. On my Instagram channel you will find tips on how to use even the smallest piece of leftover paper. And then there is a beautiful dark blue paper with stripes, and on the other side another really cool pattern. This has the same bubbles as the mask stencil in watercolor look. Finally, very nice water bubbles and clownfish on the other side. Super fun to cut out too. So on the back you see all the new stamps that comes with this series. The figures on Ocean 7, 8, 9, 10 and the water background stamp, that's Ocean 11, and the Bubbles mask stencil. The octopus I have not shown yet. That is this one. I wish I was an octopus so I can hug you 8 times as much. It's so lovely. I also made a card with this. It's not in the catalogue because I had not finished it at all when the book went to press. Using the deckled edge circle dies, I die cut circles of patterned paper and glued them to the envelope. This card has a surprise because you can open it in a special way and then lay it flat. The octopus looks through the opening, and when the card lays down, you can see the text through the opening. You see, I used the patterned paper and the stamp. And when you fold it flat, it can go back into the envelope. The Hey There text belongs to the ice cream set, the summer fun. I'll point it out later. And then here is a really cool stamp with the sawfish and the beluga whale. Here you can clearly see that the figures on the push-out sheet are smaller than the stamps. Here you see this one with the text I really love you. This is the beluga image I used for the tag. And the text I saw this I used for the next card with the sawfish. Colored with alcohol-based ink on special color card paper. Used glitter paper and the deckled edge square dies from CraftEmotions. Also used the bubble stencil and cut out 2 holes myself. The panel I glued it raised on to the paper. Behind it is a piece of glitter cardstock. For the background color of this card and for coloring the octopus, I used pigment colors from Creaties. It's a kind of explosion powder with different shades of inks in one jar and a kind of embossing gloss that you see when you heat the powder. On the left card I sprinkled the powder on the background and then sprayed it wet and then dried it with the heat tool. The octopus I colored in with the pigment colors with a water brush. I'm going to try and see if I can do another video on this. As I turn the page we see many more cool stamp sets. And here is a piece of the page that you are not allowed to see yet. Super cool what's underneath, but unfortunately that's going to have to wait. But here you see more cards that I made. Using Kate, the Odie and Friends and the Bugs and Flowers series. 3 Kate stamps, a flower background stamp and a mask stencil. This is a door hanger I made. Kate is sitting on a swing. She can actually swing. You can recognize the flower stencil in here. Both the overlaid lines and the pink flowers were made with the stencil. You can see it a little better while I lift here. I colored this with Nuvo shimmer powder. With some foam on the back, Kate stays elevated on the door hanger while still hanging loose. I colored and stamped some parts twice to give the picture depth. I downloaded a freebie for the shape of the door hanger. Then I also made this one. I used this Kate 1 stamp. I thought it would be fun to color her with a darker hair and skin tone color. Kate cuddling with the sweet guinea pigs. What would I do without you? So cute! I colored this with distress inks and oxide ink. Then here I have the envelope. Here you can see I used the stencil again. Colored in with light blue pencil and some bling bling over it. That's done with the Nuvo aqua shimmer pen. For this next envelope I used the Kate 4 background stamp. Here's the stamp. I colored them with distress inks. So you have a stamp with flowers and a stencil with flowers. And with that I made this next card. You can also see it in an earlier video of mine. Click on the eye at the top right to go there. I used the new stamp impressed dies and I also used the same Kate with the guinea pigs, only with this one I colored her blonde hair and with the other one with dark hair. I colored them both with distress inks on CraftEmotions watercolor paper, but with this one I masked the stamp at the bottom part. Then we have this card. I also used the background stamp and here I embossed with gold embossing powder on the envelope. Also on the card I embossed with gold embossing powder on watercolor card. The slimline die cut is from Creaties. I cut out and colored some extra flowers to glue on top. I colored the flowers with distress oxide ink. I also made a card with the Kate 3 stamp, but this card is not in the catalog. I can't show it because I already sent it to someone, but I still have the picture. This Kate 3 has such a naughty look. I also have a congratulations card made with a mask stencil and the stamp impressed dies. It is also in the other video I made. Then there is the Odie and Friends series. I love Odie, it's so cute. First here is the ZOZ tag, what means look at the other side. I used the CraftEmotions alphabet dies for the ZOZ. Again I colored using the Creaties pigment powders. On the back of my work I always stamp a text stamp where I write my name. That is this Bugs and Flowers stamp set. Really an essential stamp for me as well. Then here is an Odie looking through a window and giving a lick. Also again colored with pigment powders, and here I used heatable acetate from Creaties. If you stamp the front, then you can color the back with alcohol markers. And then we see this card. I have it here. Color the envelope with the mask stencil, with the dogs. And I also use this stencil for the background of the card. Ink blended with green and brown distressings. With transparent relief paste from Cadence, I added some gloss and texture. I made the dogs shiny with Nuvo aqua shimmer and glued them on top. For this card I used the heatable acetate foil again, and I stamped the paw prints with the background stamp. That's this one. These little doggies are very creative to use because you can also stamp the back of them. I did that on the inside of this card. The happy birthday to you text is so funny. Then I also made these two cards. Of course with a matching envelope, but apparently it didn't fit on the page anymore. Stamped with the grass background stamp box number 6. So these I stamped twice to cover the entire envelope. That's a little bit of fitting and measuring to get the lines to overlap. I used this stamp to make one of those similar pop-up box cards as I did with the ocean card. Here a label with Be My Butterfly, really a beautiful font. I also used the stencil, which is this mask stencil. You can see it very faintly on the background and the side of the card. You can see it can stand up and can lay flat. I stuck the butterflies on a strip of acetate film. And also for this card I colored with alcohol markers on color card paper. And I cut 3 different layers of grass, lower and higher. I've also used the butterflies from box 4 and 5 on other cards, including the next card. I used the box 5 stamp. Here I worked with oxide ink and gold embossing powder. The butterfly is also colored with oxide ink. The envelope is colored with pencil. You see, these are the stamps. A big one and a little one. Be My Butterfly. So that was box number 5 and here is number 4 as well. This is how the stamps look like. I used box number 4 for this blue one that I will show you now. Wonderfully shiny. I love shiny and bright cards. It was very difficult for me to take a picture of the card. The glitter paper was already shiny, and then with additional shiny ink added, it's beautiful in reality but hard to capture in a picture. The envelope is heat embossed with silver embossing powder and ink blended with white stamp ink. You can see here that I used the butterfly stencil on the CraftEmotions glitter paper. Then I have another card that's not on here, and that's this one. Again, use the stencil for the envelope. This time with black ink. I used the slimline dies from Creaties again, and I colored the butterfly with rainbow colors using alcohol-based ink on color card paper. Then here you see all kinds of stamps that Carlacreaties designed for CraftEmotions that are still available. This is really one of my favorites, and the summer fun one too. The Hey There text is on it. Let me see, I don't have all of them. And this Get Well stamp I used a lot too. And I use the text quite often, of course. The Arctic winter is also so nice. The Hedgie stamps are probably everyone's favorite. Here are a few nice ones that I still have and would like to show you. Here I made a nice label with the Hedgie pattern paper and the push out figure. This one is for hanging around a bottle. This one is also made with a push out figure from this set and with the Halloween dies. I also have this card laying around, and here I masked the background with lots of bees. the bee from my favorite party set. It's just time that keeps me from not making more of these kind of cards. And this one I like so much. Here I combined the bug set with the get well set. Colored the bug with the white pencil on the envelope. And then finally a cool card. Here I used the drip stencil. Also totally awesome in combination with the summer fun stamp, which is here. I think I mixed transparent relief paste from Cadence with some glitters after I did the ink blending. And of course I did some ink blending on the envelope as well. I stamped and heat embossed the sunglasses on vellum. That way you can see through them. That's cool, huh? Then I want to show you the paper that I use a lot. Here I have the color card paper from CraftEmotions. Very nice smooth white paper on which is best to stamp with water-based ink if you want to color directly over it. I use Memento ink. Then you can color this in with pencil or with alcohol-based markers, like felt tip pens, ABT Pro Tombos or Copics. This is the watercolor card paper I was talking about. Very nice, smooth and white watercolor paper. On it you stamp with pigment ink, like Memento Lux or Archival ink or VersaFine ink. These are permanent inks that you can also use for heat embossing. When the ink is dry, you can color over the paper with water-based ink, from markers, stamp pads or powders for example. I really like using Tombow water brushes to work on with this watercolor paper. The green one has a very nice, sharp and sturdy point. I have made and shown a lot of cards already. You can also find them on my Instagram, Facebook or Pinterest page. I am a big fan of Carla's designs and I am very proud that I get to design these examples for her and CraftEmotions. Also be sure to check out Carla's YouTube channel. She made a great video with beautiful examples. Click on the link after giving me a thumbs up. Do you like these stamps, masks, stencils and papers too? Don't forget to leave a message here, to like and subscribe, so YouTube knows that this video is worth showing to others. And if you are interested in purchasing these products, please use my affiliate links in the description below the video. When you click on one of my links, you will be redirected to Hobbyshop-online, a very good inexpensive web shop that also ships abroad. I get a few cents commission on your purchase. It costs you nothing extra and helps me earn a few cents on all the work and expenses I have to do. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you look forward to seeing another video from me. I will do my best to make more examples and record a new YouTube video. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!